Hey there, entrepreneurs, and welcome. My name is Diana with DianaGladney.com, and today we're going to be covering 3 live streaming secrets for faster YouTube channel growth. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So most people only consider and they think of the traditional ways of doing video or YouTube in essence, which is record the video, make sure you take time to edit it together or either hire somebody to do the editing for you. Then you got to think of the tags, titles, and the thumbnails when you get ready to upload it. And then once you upload it, you are just kind of waiting to see what happens or just hoping that you get the traction that you put in the work to do for your niche and your business and for your channel. However, what most people don't consider is adding in live streaming into the mix when they're trying to build out a formula or a plan for what they're going to do to build their actual YouTube channel. What's interesting is that there's over 300 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every single minute. So when you're uploading your video, you're added to a sea of other content, maybe not all in your specific niche. So you definitely still have a chance to, rank or show up and for people to watch and be interested in what you're providing. But one of the things that is kind of discouraging is when you do actually upload those videos and it really doesn't get the traction that you hope that it would, or it's not getting the engagement that you hope that it would. And it doesn't take too long for newbie creators, whether you have a business or not, or you just get into content creating for a YouTube channel and the interest that you have. It's not too long after that. Give it about 20, 30, maybe 50 videos even, if some get that far alone, that they keep having this same repetitive pattern happen where they're not seeing the success that they want. So they decide to just kind of give up on YouTube. But one of the things that they fail to realize is that live streaming is available to them. Now, YouTube constantly changes their rules when it comes to what you actually are able to do when it comes to live streaming and who can do live streaming versus others. And they typically want you to have a certain amount of credentials and, information just to make sure that those who they give this access to are able to honor it with building an actual community and, having some of the right motives in mind when they're building a channel. So once you reach those levels, whatever those specific settings will be, and I'll put that up on the screen so you can see what it is at the time that I'm recording this training. But the thing is that once you reach that threshold and once you have done all the requirements that YouTube is asking so that you can live stream, most people still don't do it. And I find that absolutely interesting because there are so many possibilities available when you decide to go live, no matter what niche, what area of business, or what your channel focus is on. So in today's training, I want to dive into those 3 live streaming secrets most people don't even think about or consider when they're getting ready to go live on their channel. So let's jump into strategy number 1. So the first thing we want to consider and understand is that YouTube is a search engine. It's the second largest search engine in the world, actually only second to Google, and it's actually owned by Google. So when you think about that and you really put into perspective just how many people are on the platform, how many people are searching and looking for information, tutorials, entertainment, whatever the case may be, where is it that your content will actually fit into the mix? So the first strategy that we want to consider is that when we're going live on your YouTube channel, you don't just want to say, hey, ask me anything, because when you have a new channel, they may not know actually what to ask you or what to discuss or talk about, or even have any questions generated, even though there's maybe plenty in your field, in your niche, and in your business. So sometimes you want to be able to understand the dynamics of who you're working with, who you're connecting with, and why you're going live. So the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we're having a conversation around the things that they deeply desire to actually talk about. So you may be asking, well, Diana, how do I know? I maybe just started a channel. I've been doing a channel for a while. I'm still trying to figure this all out. And that's fine, because at every stage, there's always a new level of understanding and growing and taking your audience along what's called a customer journey. So they're starting in one place. Where are they when they're finding you, to once they find your information, and what are you teaching them? And where are you taking them? So if you're starting from teaching people about not knowing how to knit, to being able to make that first, handkerchief or scarf or something like that from scratch, to eventually being more confident when they want to sit behind the machine and sew a piece together, that's a progressive process and a transition that you're taking them through. So every niche, every business, every industry, they have pressing concerns, deep desires, and things that they actually want to talk about. So one thing about trying to figure out and understand what are some of the things, how would I even be able to begin to identify what some of those things are? We want to understand that our channel should be focused around a shared belief, meaning that they're not just coming because you make great tutorials on a software or a program, or that you are, super entertaining with your personality and your family and whatever it is that you want to talk about. But understanding that there's some core belief, some underlying thing as to why they resonate with you and your content. So even if you had a family vlog, maybe that family vlog is sharing how you can really build a team and just a family unit in your everyday life, instead of it just being boys against the girls or the parents against the kids, but understanding that even though there's a lot of us or what have you, we're still going to build a family unit. We're going to build a team. And that's what family is all about. That could be a shared belief. And I know for Tim Schmoyer, that's actually his family's shared belief for their family vlog. So it's not just about, here's some things that my kids are doing and you should be interested because they're awesome, but understanding that I'm not only just sharing my kids' journey, but I'm also sharing how I'm helping them to tie into our core belief and the reason why we do this vlog channel at all, which is to be building and to be becoming a family unit and a team. So no matter what that training or tutorial or whatever it is, it has to tie into a shared belief. And understanding that is how we now begin to dig deeper into the core and the essence of who it is that we're reaching and what is it that we're going to be helping them to do. So now that we understand what that shared belief is and why somebody would have come or searched for anything to eventually land on our channel or video that we would have done, is understanding what are they thinking? Like literally, what is that person thinking about? What are they considering? What are some of the probing questions and concerns that they have? And if you've done a few videos and you see that you have comments or certain videos, it always tends to kind of like skew to one area or another, especially after you've done about 20, 30, even 50 videos. You have now within your catalog and your library of content, some video did better than the other, whether it was just them responding with emotion or responding with questions or something. So around the content that you're hoping to build your channel around, which of your videos got the most engagement, not just likes or views, but actual responses? Because now we want to look into those comments, those questions, and not just the things that were actually left on the video, but find out more about the people who actually left them. And so you may be asking, like, how does this have anything to do with live streaming? And why do I have to go through all this to even begin to figure out the why? And the thing is that we have to understand, who is our person, what problem are they having, and what pain are they feeling as to why they even began a YouTube search around anything of what they're doing. So now as we begin to see what comments and engagements that people have, we can start to dive into the conversations that they're having. So let's dive a little bit deeper into how that works. So here's a pro tip that I'm pretty sure none of the people in your industry are even thinking about or considering. We want to look into the actual people that left these comments, these questions, these concerns on our actual videos. That means that we're clicking on their name. We want to know more about them, and we want to understand why would they even go through the work to leave a comment. So let's dive in. So let's start with John. John is a random name that we're going to pick and we're going to use for this specific example. Let's say you have this knitting channel, this sewing channel, this crafty kind of channel. You're somewhere in the maker space and you did a video and a tutorial, and John left a comment. He said, man, I've really been looking for how to do this. I've been trying to figure this out for a long time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is a comment that kind of gives you some idea and perspective into what kind of problems and experiences John has been having looking for an answer around this specific topic or this video, or the way you explained it, or the way you showed the examples. In the sea of content that's out there, something about it stuck out to make John want to comment. So this puts John on our hierarchy list. We want to know, beyond the person that just watched and beyond the person that just liked, now we have this person that left a comment. Let's find out more about him. So when we click on John's name, now you can do this for several people that leave comments. And if you're new and you don't have any videos that have comments yet, you can go to a very popular channel or one that is coming up in search that seems to be doing fairly well. For the amount of views, they have some likes on the video as well. And the likes outweigh the dislikes. That's important because we want to know, not just like dislikes are still engagement in YouTube world. So that's not bad. it led them to a point to want to leave some kind of emotional response to say, yes, I liked it, or no, this didn't solve it for me, or something was about it was off. That's okay. We just want to know that they're leaning more towards yes, or more people leaning towards yes versus no. So if you don't have a channel, that's okay. Go ahead and click on one that is in your niche or the space or something like that. So we have John. Let's go to John's profile. Let's click on his channel name. When we see that John maybe he's building a channel, maybe he's doing videos himself. What kind of content is he creating? Maybe it was important for him to be able to make this specific scarf to pull off this kind of Harry Potter theme, something that he was doing. He's into cosplay. So maybe it had really nothing to do about him wanting to be a seamstress or be, someone in the maker space per se. He just wants to know a simpler and easier way to make cosplay costumes, for example, or something like that. So now we understand he just wants to be able to make simple pieces, things that he sees on TV or in movies that he likes, or whatever the space in the fantasy world is that he's interested in. He wants to be able to pull off those simple pieces. That gives us an insight into what kind of a person is in our audience. But beyond that, even if you have somebody that has a channel where they're creating content or not, most people, especially if they are just in like viewer mode, they're not in creator mode. Some people have two profiles, like I personally have two. One is for my personal interests, where I'll just be watching and doing all the things that I like to do, nerdy science videos and book hauls and things like that. And then I have one for my primary YouTube channel, where it's all about, helping people simplify the video creation process. That's around my channel promise on Entre Women TV. So I don't really want to mix the two because it'll mess up in all the things that comes up in YouTube and what they recommend to you. So I keep those separate. So let's say John has this personal account where he is just searching for content that he's interested in that would help him. He doesn't have videos that he's making, but he does have videos that he's liking. And so YouTube develops these playlists, like a liked playlist. So when he went through, searched, watched videos, actually hit the like button, every person that has a YouTube account, whether they're creating content or not, gets this liked playlist. Now, everybody doesn't keep this visible, but it does help when you are coming across somebody that does, because you can go through all the different types of videos that John watched that he enjoyed. That was enough of a response to make him hit the actual like button. Now, when we're looking through his liked playlist, we want to take into account what kind of videos is John looking for. When we think about what kind of things he's interested in and what kind of videos he's looking for, then we can begin to understand, what is John trying to do here? What is he trying to figure out? Even if it may go from cars to sewing and knitting, we know the kinds of videos that he searched for. What did he have to do to type into YouTube, the search bar, for that video to even come up? We want to really focus on the videos that are specific to our niche and industry, and those that are relevant as to why he even found your video. There's another one that's on there where it's about his favorites. And if somebody goes through the habit of, let's say they're trying to learn cameras, and they're trying to learn knitting like John would be, then he's compiling a playlist of videos that he's interested in, like how to do a running stitch, or how to sew a scarf, or how to do this Harry Potter themed scarf specifically. He's creating a playlist so that when he gets this machine per se, then he's able to begin to just dive right in. Or these videos were the most helpful to him, and now he wants to begin to go through these videos and this content again. He wanted to save them. This speaks miles above anybody that just would leave a like on a video, which we always appreciate and value, but somebody who we can start to begin to understand more about who they are, what problems that they're having, and the pain that we're helping to solve for them, the more that we can understand what content we not only need to create for our channels, but the conversations that they're most interested in when going live. If we do this a few times, if we see all the different kinds of things that a person like John would be having, and we see that most of the people that find our channel are people that are interested in making their own costumes for things that they're wanting to go to for these cosplay events, maybe we don't just do a random scarf video anymore, but we begin to talk about and speak to that cosplay audience. Maybe we pick items that are from movies for us to create. So now not only did we just kind of hack the YouTube system a little bit with the information that they freely provide to us, but we also get a better understanding of who John is what things he's searching for, why he's searching for them, what interests he has, what niche and area of business or, videos that he's interested in watching and engaging with. And now we can begin to marry that into our live streaming process so that when we go live, it becomes a video that John can't resist watching. He has to click on it. Now you may be saying, well, Diana, I run a business. I'm trying to build a YouTube channel and I'm trying to record and do these videos and hashtag all the things by myself. I really don't have time to click and dig through and search for every individual and single person that left a comment. Well, here's one pro tip that YouTube allows you to turn on alerts within your channel so that when somebody subscribes to your channel, you can do the same thing. Because more than, again, just somebody watching and viewing the video and even going through, which we appreciate, again, leaving a like, they actually decided to sign up and say yes to you. They subscribe to your channel. So what I would do about once a month is I take about an hour or two and I go through, do that exact same process, because somebody that said yes to not just a video to leave a comment, but they said yes to wanting to keep in touch, get alerts every time I upload a video, come back to the channel multiple times, then that's somebody I still want to know more about. So that's an easy way that you can just, set up a Gmail account or something like that. They won't overflood, your business or email accounts or what have you, but it lets you be able to have a dedicated space that you can begin to research the people that are saying yes to your content, yes to what you're already doing, so that we can begin to kind of get in the mindset and really get in the shoes and just the whole thinking process of who it is that's saying yes to us, so that we can reach not just a wider audience, but also connect deeper with the people that are there. So now we have like a DNA blueprint for our ideal audience member, our ideal viewer, and we know exactly what they want to see. We understand like what they're coming to YouTube for, what kind of things are they searching for, what are they trying to do? So exactly where are they starting, where their interests lie, so their deep desires, so that we can begin to not just go live, but create videos that can lead up even to a live stream where it becomes undeniable that they want to watch this video, they click on it, and they're absolutely interested in it. However, that leads us into our second strategy, which is ranking videos in real time while you are going live. Probably nobody in your industry is doing that. So let's talk about it and dive into some of the details when it comes to doing this. So about on average, there are 368,000 times where the phrase how to gets searched into YouTube just about every single month. 368,000 times. And that's just literally the phrase how to. So while how to is great, and that gives us, again, some more additional details as to just how many people are actually searching YouTube, trying to figure out actually how to do something, there's a deeper conversation almost always for any industry happening around how you do something. For example, if you're building cars or you do auto mechanic work and you're teaching people how to change their oil, how to change the radiator fluid in their car, how to know when you need an oil change even. So sometimes basic questions, but things that are super helpful and highly searched in YouTube. Those videos tend to do pretty well, and it's very easy to kind of rank for those videos in essence. However, when you're going live about something, we, again, now from our strategy number one, we know exactly what kinds of things that they're interested in. So let's say it's somebody that is just a young guy who's just trying to figure out life. He's a young man. He's out on his own, got his first apartment and his first car. So we now say, let's call him Steve. Steve is this guy. So it's just not about him doing this one thing, because that is addressing his primary pain point at this time. That's how to change his oil. His oil light came on and he's like, crap, I need to figure out how to do this. So he went to that specific kind of a video with the intent to figure out how to achieve that process. And because you helped him with it, he says, yeah, man, I like the kind of content that I see, other how-to videos. So when time comes for me to learn how to do that, I know exactly where to go. However, there's other things around managing a car for the first time that you would need to, like when it understands the filters on the inside of a car, or when it comes to just understanding certain types of gas or gas treatment products or things that you can do, preventative maintenance on your car, so that you don't have to make big purchases. You don't have to run the risk of maybe blowing out your engine or messing up your transmission. Things that are preventable that maybe somebody that's new to learning cars, in essence, has no idea about what they're doing. So this is super appealing to him. So when we think about, let's say something just recently got published on the news and they're saying you don't have to worry about starting your car in the wintertime anymore because new cars are made in such a way it's not a problem. Well, this is kind of controversial. So let's say we begin to rank for that thing around oil changing, around something dealing with starting cars, and around just the performance and keeping your car from shutting down. All of these are highly sensitive topics, things that are in the now, things that are something that Steve would want to know about. So it's conversation pieces, not a how-to technical thing where we got to keep readjusting the camera and keep, trying to figure stuff out. But in real time, we can have a conversation and then you can explain why maybe that news article is wrong, or maybe the news article forgot to mention this one specific thing that you're going to be giving them all the details on. It'd be absolutely interesting to Steve for him to figure that out, because let's say it's summertime and wintertime is vastly approaching and he lives someplace where it's been known that it's pretty important. So now, based off the news article that just went viral and based off of where Steve is located, we now know that Steve is really concerned about this. This is something that he would be very interested in. Even if you lived in a warmer climate, then you're still dealing with some winter kind of months. You would want to know, is this something that's really going to run the risk of me messing up my car or not? Because cars are big investments. Now understand, we're going through this thought process. We're applying all the things from strategy 1 and dialing that into our live stream. So now we can begin to go live about a topic that we not only can rank for, that's a trendy something, that's something that's interesting to our audience, but something that they absolutely would want to have a conversation around because they have questions. So these are the kind of things that you can think about when you're ranking a video or you're putting some things together for ranking videos. Now, you may be asking and saying to yourself, Diana, I have no idea how to rank videos. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. I'm brand new. What do I do? Well, let's go through some ranking 101 videos, some pro tips, some things I go with coaching clients when it comes to video marketing on YouTube, so you can show up within the first page of Google as well as some of those first few folds of YouTube's search. So let's dive in. So the first thing when it comes to ranking videos, you want to think phrases, not words. So most people will go to, if they're typing something like financial planning, and you'll see somebody like Dave Ramsey, high authority, has been for years, multiple books, undeniable. This guy knows what he's talking about. You'll see Forbes magazine, you'll see CNN, or, just all these different super reputable links and channels all over the place, and you're trying to fit in. So it really doesn't help us to just say financial planning or to just put a tag in our video, especially our live videos, and just say money. This is a common misconception that most people see. And honestly, whatever you may see a big YouTuber or a larger channel or a channel with more channel authority on a specific thing, even if they're not as widely popular and well known as a Dave Ramsey, then you still don't want to try to compete or replicate or do the things that they're doing, because you haven't built the channel authority that they have as to why they're showing up. What happens with this is that YouTube actually sees how many people are actually clicking on this video, how many people are watching and for how long, how many minutes, and just how many people leave comments and are engaging, and they have all the details in the data. So when that person publishes, they probably aren't putting much effort anymore into maybe the tag, the title, or the thumbnail, which is why they're saying, I can't believe this. So if Dave Ramsey puts up that kind of thing and just says, I can't believe this, tag say money, and they just say financial planning, and he ranks number 1, we don't want to copy and paste that because it's not going to work for us. So if you're a smaller channel, or if you're building and growing your channel like most of us always are, then you want to be more strategic about that. And you can actually rank sometimes above some of the larger channels. And I've done that quite a few times. So it's pretty neat to see that. And because you're going live, you're doing this in real time. So the entire duration that you are live, you're now showing up for those phrases. So let's break down some of the things that you would want to consider when you're thinking about a word versus a phrase. So my channel, Entre Women TV, is all about helping busy entrepreneurs simplify the video creation process so that you can reach wider and connect deeper with the people that need you the most. So in there, it kind of gives you all the things of who I'm talking to, what we're going to be doing, and the channel promise, all built in a one, right? So in that, I obviously cover somewhat of some camera stuff. So different video technical tips, as well as video marketing tips, like we're really diving into this training here. But that does require, and because I'm just interested in cameras and stuff, I'm talking about cameras. If something comes out, which is something that you can think about, something's new, something's relevant, it's trending, it's a rumor, it's something going on, it's a hot topic, a hot button, something that's a conversation piece around what's happening in your industry, it makes it super easy to talk about this, go live, and rank even before there's really any other content that's coming out about this. Because again, most people are traditionally thinking, oh, I need to record a video, get my facts right and all the details, do the tags, titles, thumbnails, upload it, and wait and see what happens. However, when you're going live, you can still do the research, and we've done a lot of that already in strategy number 1. However, with strategy number 2 here, which is ranking in real time, then we're taking those phrases, not just like financial planning or money, but we're actually thinking something along the lines of something that's the latest. So for my channel on Entree Woman TV, one time Canon was coming out with their first full frame mirrorless camera. Now, this rumor was making waves in the industry, and honestly, a lot of people were just hoping, waiting, and praying that Canon would just drop the most amazing camera available and possible. But we didn't know what to expect. So the rumor was on some of these different camera rumor sites that it was going to be this and it was going to have that. And so all we could do was wait and see. However, something interesting happened where the spec sheet that you would usually see on like Canon's websites, or the details and description that you'd see on Amazon's website in a description for a product, well, those specs just kind of leaked online. So whether Canon leaked them themselves or somebody that worked there kind of just, slid it on to the rumor sites, we don't know. However, we were all thankful for them. Now, how does this apply? So when we're thinking of building our channel and faster growth, that deals with exposure. So if a rumor, something that's hot, something that's wanting to be known within the industry is happening, we want to talk about it. We want to happen to join the conversation that's happening in our viewers' mind. And what is that? Is this the camera for us? Is this the camera that's going to solve all of our problems? Because for the longest time, Canon cameras were the YouTubers' cameras, the content creators' camera. It was known for just being super helpful during the DSLR revolution. So now we're entering mirrorless, and Canon's a little late to the game, so they're just about to drop their first full frame camera. Of course, we all want to know about it. We want to know everything about it. So what do? I pull up that spec sheet, I download it, I go to the website, and I schedule a live stream. But here's the thing. When we talk about the pro tip of how do we begin to rank videos, I'm not just going to type Canon or Canon camera. I want to go Canon EOS R or EOS R. That's the full name of what the camera actually was called. Even if this was wrong and this was not the right information, it's okay, because that's what the current rumor is. If the new Tesla car was not called Tesla X, Y, and Z or Model X, it doesn't really matter, because that's the name that we know. That's the name that your audience would know. So it's not about trying to be super accurate at that point, because you're happening to join the conversation that's already happening in their mind. What's the talk of the town? We don't want to think about or consider anything else other than what is the conversation happening in their mind already. So now I can type in Canon full frame mirrorless camera. Canon full frame mirrorless camera 2018. Whatever it is that is a phrase that not is just something that I'm thinking about, but it's something that somebody would search in YouTube. And actually, YouTube does a lot of the heavy lifting for us, because they will tell us exactly what somebody is thinking. They'll tell us exactly what phrases are coming up. So this YouTube prediction will actually begin to finish our phrases and our sentences for us. The longer the phrase, the better it is. And also, the more you have an opportunity to rank for that phrase. So now you want to begin to add multiple phrases that not only make sense for the search engine for what's coming up in YouTube, but what are some of the things that the person would search for? So it's not just about it being something that's necessarily always coming up in search, but it's something about it being something relevant to the person that's searching. So I wouldn't necessarily always just put in my titles or my description, necessarily Canon EOS R full frame mirrorless camera, but I may put dash, is it real? Spec sheet released, new unreleased details, something that leads and alludes to what more of the conversation we're going to be diving into. I could compare that camera to one of the other rumored cameras and see, based off of just the rumors, what is happening, what's the conversation. So for somebody that's interested in that, you may say, well, that's great, I'm talking about a rumor or something like that, or something that's trending, but how does that help me build and grow my channel? Well, the discoverability for something like that in real time not only gives priority to you because you're live, but it also helps understanding what other things you might be talking about on your channel. So there's no such thing as like a bad video to go live about. It's just about dialing in and getting more information, more details into the things that are going to help us show up and rank for those videos and show up in search. So what's the difference between ranking your videos in real time and showing up that way, especially if the video is still going to stay published on your channel, versus just recording the video, uploading it, knowing you have a dedicated and set time. You didn't waste your time because nobody showed up, and you didn't worry about it because the video fell flat, and just go ahead and doing that. Because you're looking at maybe, let's say, a 5-minute video or things that you want to pose and say, hey, leave a comment down below on what you think, versus doing that live. Well, the difference is the same reason why you want to talk to somebody after you've texted for a while, or you schedule times to meet up and have coffee and have conversation, or be on Skype together or Zoom or FaceTime, and why you care for that one-to-one in-person communication. Because there's nothing like one-to-one in-person communication other than live streaming. So recorded videos serve their purpose, and ranking those videos do allow you to create evergreen content. But in addition to creating evergreen content that will last for the eons as long as YouTube is available, you can begin to create content that's not only going to do the same purpose, but you begin to step over and above any of your peers, even if they're doing live streams, because you're giving your audience a chance to connect with you in real time. So you're not only addressing their pain points, their conversation, but things happen in live videos that, again, only happen in real one-to-one, belly-to-belly communication. Your mannerisms, how you laugh, things that you find funny, something that you're drinking. Maybe you love to only ever drink orange juice hardly, or maybe it's like me where I absolutely love white chocolate and it becomes the running joke on my Instagram stories or on my YouTube live streams where if somebody mentions dark chocolate, or I'll compare something good and bad from white chocolate versus dark chocolate, and it just riles people's feathers all the time. But that's something I'm really enjoying, and it's just like coffee or tea. So I'm always talking again still about coffee and how much better it is, and that person must be a tea drinker because X, Y, and Z. And so it begins to develop community. And that's the biggest thing that happens with live streaming. Can you still build a community with uploading videos? Absolutely. It happens all the time. But when you have the opportunity to go live, connect with them in a deeper and more meaningful way that you absolutely could not do one-to-one, you'd be exhausted. You can do that in a live stream, and with tens and hundreds and even thousands of people at a time that you can't do one-to-one and belly-to-belly. So you're taking advantage of a unique opportunity and engaging with them. And if you think about it, it's very different. And even building upon anything further that you would want to do in your business, just simply by ranking that video, showing up in search, giving them the opportunity to connect with you right then and right there. And so now the ranking the video isn't just about showing up in search. It's still tapping into their deep desires and conversations of, what do I do now? Things have changed. Something happened. Some ripple effect is about to take place, and I'm coming to you for answers. So the ranking the videos isn't only just about showing up for them in a way that, helps your channel to succeed and, all those different things, but it gives you the perspective and understanding that me showing up in search lets me address those concerns, those new pain points, things that are happening in our industry, in our world, and the things that are specific as to why we even connected in the first place. It makes it super relevant. So let's touch on strategy number 3, which is creating super fans and building a true community online. Most people think like internet people aren't really people. And it's kind of weird because it's like once you see them in person, sometimes you get a little starstruck. Like I've had that happen before with meet some of my heroes and people I've been following for years, got their books on my desk. And you meet them in person and it's just kind of weird because somebody you've never met before, you kind of know all their business. You know all about them. You really just like, and it's crazy because they want to know like, how do you know? Like for me, it's like, how do you know I love white chocolate? How do you know I'm a coffee drinker? Duh, I watch your videos all the time. So when that happens, it's really interesting because you're just continuing a conversation and you're continuing a relationship that you started to build and develop online. So even if you're an introvert like me and you find it a little weird still when you meet somebody in person and they know things about you, or they can recall stories or jokes and things like that. Again, that happens not just through your edited videos that can sometimes, if they're too produced, can kind of take away from them getting to know you as a person, loving and respecting you in a way that, again, really doesn't happen unless it's one-to-one and feeling like they've built a friend, they've built a relationship with a mentor, a coach, somebody that literally cares about their successes and their failures. Then things begin to really take on a whole new leaf when you're building super fans and building community in an online relationship. So let's talk a little bit more into how we can build super fans by going live. So on my channel, Entree Woman TV, I would do these Friday live day where we would just do these live chats. And depending on what was going on, again, whether it be a rumor or something that's happening, a pressing conversation or concern, I do a live stream around that. So if a new camera's coming out, we talk about it. If there was, like again, with this whole coronavirus thing that was happening then, or is happening at the time I'm recording this, then I could do one around live streaming content, which I've been teaching about. And so now there are all these new questions, all these new concerns, because again, the pain point has shifted. So when I do a live stream about it, I have people that are showing up to my live stream that I know their first name. Their channel name is something ridiculous or kind of weird or, whatever it is they want to come up with. Like Entree Women TV doesn't necessarily mean anything to anybody that's never heard of it before, but I have my name on there too. But what if I didn't? And my channel was just only called Entree Woman TV, but I'm new to your online community. And when I show up, you not only are seeing other names similar to mine that may just be something that's kind of weird or made up, but you call that person by name. Well, first time it happens, you maybe think like, well, maybe they're friends outside of this or, they work together, whatever. And then you see it happen again and again and again. And just like they know them. That's what happens on my live streams. People that comment regularly, I get to know them, understand their pain points and concerns they're having as I'm helping them. They're emailing me. They're sending me messages on Instagram. So by the time I go live, I've already had several conversations, several engagements, and even FaceTimes on Instagram Messenger, actually real-time helping that person. So the relationship has taken on this whole other level. So by the time I show up for a live stream, this person is showing up because they're a dedicated audience member. But more than that, we've built an online relationship together and true community is beginning to happen. So when somebody's new, and if I was new to your channel and I showed up and I see you calling people my name and it's just like, oh, you have the Nikon Z6, isn't that right? Such and such. And you keep the conversation going or you move on. It's just like, oh yeah, so you're asking this question about this new audio interface or this new tool about live streaming. You're trying to figure out how it works together. Well, since you have the Nikon Z6, you never said this in chat, but I remember from our conversation and I'm just kind of diving into whatever. The other persons and the other people that are new to your community begin to understand like you know them, like you have relationships built. Like surely you don't know all 50 of these people in real time. You don't know all 10 of these people, however many show up to the live stream. You don't it can't be that y'all are all buddies. And they begin to understand like there's real community happening here. So when that begins to happen, things really start to take a shift because it's not somebody that is just like, hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. And thanks for being here and making them, the person that's going live, just feel better. But like you have a vested interest in your audience. You legit care about what they're doing and their pain points and this, that, or whatever. So for example, my subscriber that's a part of my online community. So he's doing these live streams, What happens when he says, so Steve, I know you're wanting to go to Alabama A&M, and that's the college that you were thinking about. And so I did see a recent article about whatever. Steve never typed that in the comments. He never typed that in the chat within the live stream, but you recall from a conversation that you had or a comment that they left or something like that. And you understand that person's pain points more specifically. That builds community unlike anything else. So when we talk about faster YouTube channel growth, what if for all 50 of those people, all 10 of those people even that showed up to your live stream, that watched the replay, and they saw this happening and they were new to your online community, they just came upon a gold mine, because how many people are really doing that or know that or understand that? So when we think about this and we apply this to our channel, you probably have about 50 guaranteed views every video. Maybe that video does well because you ranked that video and it showed up in search and more people are exposed. So even if it was only 7 people that were there, they saw how you engaged so intently and specifically and uniquely with these 7 people. And it's just like, man, I want that community. I want to know that when I show up to somebody's live stream, they can say hey to me by name. They understand. Maybe don't remember everybody's name or what have you, but you kind of start to, as the more people show up and the more that they comment, then you get people that are now being recognized even by YouTube. Oh, this person is a top fan. This person comments a lot. You heart their comments a lot, and all these new tools and wonderful things that YouTube helps to kind of jog our memory, but then get to remember people's faces. Kind of the same thing like when you're at work or when you were at school. You may know some things about that person. You don't necessarily know their whole life story, and that's fine. You don't need to. But when you're creating super fans, these are people that not just watch your videos. They watch your videos longer. They don't just pay attention to what you're saying. They pay attention to everything in your video. They make notices. They make comments about all the things that are happening, or they ask you how you are. They begin to actually care. They don't just like a video. They like it and they comment. That becomes the default for what they're doing. So the live streaming content begins to feed and seed for the other content channel that you're doing on your channel here. So when you upload a video, you're not just hoping, waiting, expecting, praying that new people find it, but now you begin to talk about what I talk about on my channel, which is not just reach wider people by ranking the videos and doing all those things, but creating deeper connections, really truly building community. Not just to have the clout per se and the feeling of just knowing that people showed up and thanks a lot for commenting, but hey Susan, hope Steve is doing a whole lot better in school. Let me know, did his GPA, was he able to get his GPA up? Maybe that was from an email that they sent you, but you remembered. It's something unique about somebody calling you by name that you really begin to just like feel differently about that content creator, that entrepreneur, because how many other people are doing that? I remember joining a live stream and I remember just throwing something in the chat. I was kind of new to this community and they were doing stuff about video stuff, which I'm interested in. And they said, hey, Diana, they were just obviously reading my channel name, but they answered my question and they moved on and they kept calling me by name. Every time I heard this and I was watching the video, the live stream on my TV in my living room, every time that they said my name, I recognized it. It's the difference when you're walking down the street and you're just kind of like in your own mind, you're in thought process, whatever, and that person stops saying whatever other words and they call you by name and it snaps your focus. Same thing happens when you begin to understand and build real community with people that actually need what you're talking about, producing or creating, and you know them by name. So when I started this training, I said that I would be sharing with you the 3 live streaming trips to faster YouTube channel growth, right? So as we've gone through these tips and strategies, I've talked about a lot of things, but what's the result that happens when you have done all these things and you're actually creating super fans on your channel with your live streams? Well, I shared with you some of the things that have happened with me. Not only do you get super chats, which is kind of like donations or a tip jar, if you will. So as you're dropping value, dropping content, I remember I did it a couple days ago, just like a 10 or 15 minute live stream and got $5 just because somebody wanted to say thank you. Someone will ask me, how do you do X, Y, and Z? And I can say, well, here are the tips and here's the examples and so on and so forth. But I actually go deeper into a training or a new course that I just released on my website. And if you go here, then you'll get X, Y, and Z. And then that person actually goes there and they buy the course or the training or what have you. Also, when it comes to free downloadables, free guides and different things like that. And I can say, hey, go to dianagladney.com/live stream and you get the ultimate guide to live streaming, because if you enjoyed this video today, then you can go there and get more things. Then that person actually goes and they sign up and become a part of my email community. And so now whenever I'm talking about something, going live or whatever, I can make an announcement, share more information, share certain things, discounts or whatever that I share in my email community that I'm not doing anywhere else. I can do that there. Now, wouldn't happen if I wasn't sharing that in a video and really connecting with them in a live video, because we all kind of get tuned to turning off and not paying attention to videos and content. And somebody just say, like, share, subscribe, and they don't really have a reason why. Or they're used to everybody saying, get my free anything or go to my course and buy this, but they're not really taking action on that. So it just kind of begins to be something we hear and we don't really do anything about it. But when you're live and you're providing real value in real time, then that person's more inclined to ask more questions, something that they probably wouldn't do in a recorded video that you just posted. But because it's live, they may say, well, what kind of things do you talk about in that guide? Or do you cover this? And you say, yeah, we actually have a whole 3 pages that's dedicated to X, Y, and Z. And so one of the things I talk about is X. You just went ahead and kind of sold that free PDF or free download. You may say, well, that's not all that important. It's not really doing anything. Well, what about for my production company? Do video editing and production, and that viewer now turns into a client because they're having troubles. They say, I like the way you edit your videos. I know that you understand not just the editing side, but the video marketing, and you can marry those two together for me. Can I hire you to do this? It's like, sure, I have availability for that. And we work together. All of these things have happened over the course of me doing my YouTube channels and especially going live, because there's somebody that engaged with me that I knew what kind of things they were interested in. I understood what their pain points was problems that they were having. And as that pain point continued to shift, as they're growing and learning more, I was right there to be able to create videos for them and be a part of that conversation that's happening in their mind. And so if you're wanting to grow your business, you're wanting to grow your channel, it's really about having a heart and an understanding and a passion for wanting to help people. And you may say it's entertainment channel. How do I do that? Or it's a vlog channel. How do I do that? Because the same principles exist for no matter what kind of content that you're doing. There's always going to be a shared belief as to why somebody's engaging with you to begin with. So when we marry all these things together, we think about these 3 live streaming secrets, these strategies that I've talked about in here. Why do they work? Why does it make a difference? And why, again, versus an uploaded video, would it even matter? Well, we have to consider the hierarchy of engagement scale, which is something that I teach on my channel and on my website. So the hierarchy of engagement scale basically says this, super simple. At the very top of a funnel, for example, we can say that somebody watches a video, and that's the difference of somebody clicking on it and them not clicking on it. They watched it. So you did all the things to kind of come up and blah, blah, blah. So they watched it. They're now a viewer. But it's very different from somebody that just clicked on your channel. They're watching it and they're viewing it, but they also went through the process and they liked it. Now this person has a little bit more, umph in the game, so to speak, and they decide to hit the like button. What about that person that leaves a comment? So like Bob, we talked about earlier in this training, Bob cares. Bob cares. And he left a comment. That's a little bit further down in this engagement scale. He maybe subscribed at this point or whatever the case is. And sometimes people flat out tell you, I'm a new subscriber. I just subscribed. I've been looking for this all the those are the amazing comments that you want. And so now a little bit further down this hierarchy of engagement scale, not only did they watch, they maybe watched for longer. They liked. Not only did they like, they went through, they left a comment, but the holy grail of all holy grails, they shared it. They decided to share and expose you to their online community. So no matter what's happening, this hierarchy of engagement scale is always happening on regular YouTube videos as well as live videos. But it happens so much faster when you're engaging with them live, even if it's once a month. they begin to look forward to those conversations, the time when they get a chance to meet up, connect with you, almost to the point to where even I get after I'm done with the live stream, crap, I just missed you. When's the next time you're going live? Or I want to make sure I don't want to miss it. Oh, crap, I wanted to be there so I could ask you, blah, blah, and blah. And so now they have a fear of missing out and a frustration around, crap, I missed a time and an opportunity to connect, because it's something that they look forward to. So let's recap. The first thing that we want to talk about and understand when we're thinking about these 3 live streaming secrets is creating something that is a desirable topic and really understanding who we're creating content for. So we understand the person and we begin to understand their problems, so we can begin to understand their pain points. What are these deep desires, these conversation points, things that they want to talk about, what's trending, what's happening, what's a rumor, what are things that are really going on in our industry and our niche that are not just things that probably should be a tutorial, which should be a dedicated video around, but the thing that led to them searching to begin with, to even want to figure out a solution to a problem. That leads us into our secret and strategy number 2, which is beginning to rank for those videos in real time. So as we're going live, we're not just going live about anything, saying, hey, ask me anything, which is fine to do. But when you're trying to build and have faster success and growth on YouTube, then you want to go ahead and dive deeper into the conversation that's happening in their mind, that they're pondering and thinking about and really want to talk to somebody about. So ranking these videos in real time, let us come up in search. Even if you're scheduling a live video, you can still rank for those videos by not just thinking phrases, or excuse me, not just thinking words, but thinking phrases. So thinking of that, we now know not just what's YouTube going to recommend in the search, but what the person is considering when they're searching. And then finally, creating super fans, diehard fans that can't wait to come back for more content, can't wait to join the conversations that you're creating, so that you can really invest in building more communities, stronger, dedicated communities, so that when you're creating videos on your channel, you have people that you'll come to see all the time in the comments. You know that they were probably one of the likes that happened, one of the first ones on the channel, and that even when you get somebody asking questions or wanting to validate blah, 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 whatever it is that you said, and you couldn't get to that comment in time, they're not just there leaving that one comment and then they're gone. They're actually engaging with other people or explaining and saying how amazing you are about whatever, or answering a question, something that they learned from you, and says, here's what she said about this. Here's what he taught about that. Or he actually did a video about that, and it actually goes into, and they just begin to do work for you. And so when you're creating super fans, you're really building a true diehard community of people that can't be persuaded not to watch your videos, not to join your live streams or anything else. And it's really, really, really interesting that once you build and you develop these communities, since we're thinking about YouTube and we talked about how many hundreds of hours are uploaded every single minute, then now we need to think and consider we're fighting for their attention, not just for them to like us, know, like, and trust us, as we always hear, but we're fighting for attention. So in this sea of content on YouTube, the second largest search engine in the world, we're thinking of the person that's searching because we're fighting for their attention. So if we're fighting for their attention and we've done all these things that I talked about in this training, you don't have to fight very much anymore. You're almost guaranteed to get it, to the point to where they will leave watching a new video because they saw and they got an alert, because they hit that bell button, and they're now coming to see what it is that you have to say and what it is that you have to provide. So hopefully this training helps you in just not just doing some of the things that maybe you heard, like ranking videos and doing tags, titles, and descriptions and stuff, but really how to marry that to a marketing strategy for your content, for what you're doing, and really understanding the person that is behind the keyboard that's essential to doing and having any level of success within YouTube. So on DianaGladney.com, I obviously share more content like this, as well as on Entree Woman TV on YouTube, as well as that ultimate live streaming guide where I talked about not just the strategies like we talked about today, but some of the technical things of how to get your setup right and all of those variations, especially for the time that I'm recording this video. We're all needing to go live more make these connections happen deeper. So I would encourage you to check that out at dianagladney.com/livestream, and that's a free resource available to you. But if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me at dianagladney.com. But otherwise, guys, live with passion, and I'll see you in the next video.